to Ferreira, making the run hard down the side. So that's Rocco Hara, who's all the way out there. Hara for Ferreira, finds Arriola, and he roofs it to tie the game. First Dallas player to do so since Jeff Cunningham in 2009.
Rocco Hara here coming in.
Alan Velasco. We'll give back to him. Back heel. Far five. Crash! And Arriola almost had another one. It's a goal kick.
Hey, and we're live. Welcome to Big D After Dark. We're excited to talk some FC Dallas soccer. Take your comments and questions live because we have a lot to get to. We've had sort of a spotty couple of weeks, partly because I've been out of the country, but I am back stateside and excited to be with you and excited to be with my friends. Well, first of all, I'm Nathan Hill at Nathan J. Hill. You can follow me there on Twitter. Our buddy Ismael at Belcora Isma in there. A few beers in to a nice evening in the upper Midwest is our buddy Jose Carmona. You can follow him at El Chico Carmona.
And a couple of shots.
And a couple of shots. All right, good. Good for him. Well, and we have a lot to cover. We got, of course, North Texas to talk about. Some up and down results. It's not been a great couple of weeks for the squad. There's been some interesting results for the whole franchise. And some other news, too, that we'll get to about shirt sponsors. But, of course, our main headline has got to be FC Dallas. We got to talk about this past couple of results. FC Dallas, of course, welcomed, oh my gosh, I'm already blanking, on all the teams that we played because of jet lag.
We played Miami on 4th of July.
Miami, Inter Miami, 4th of July at home, and not the greatest game in front of a raucous, fireworks-ready crowd. Gave up a late goal. Yeah.
Bad result.
1-1 at home. But of course, Inter Miami is actually up. They're not the laughing stock of the league anymore. They're a tough team to play. We can get into that. But then, FC Dallas went down to Houston, and twice led in the match in what is a classic Texas Derby experience. Classic Houston.
One of the best Texas Derby matches that we've had in a long time. That game was scintillating till the end.
And actually we have a new guest to join us tonight. Also here, we're welcoming in our buddy Colin. Also goes by Coov.
Yo, Colin, a drink to you, my man.
Yes, sir.
Wait, guys. Here's a shot.
All right,
going
Jose.
down. In Polish, we say na zdrowie.
All right. Drink well. All right. Well, Colin, thanks for joining us on short notice as we really get into the FC Dallas results of the past couple weeks. We're live, so we'll take comments and questions live. Folks, type it in on Facebook, on YouTube, wherever you're watching, and it'll shape the show. Okay. So let's get right into it. Just how are you feeling about FC Dallas right now at this point in the season? One win in the last, I think, 8 games now. But at the same time, there's been like this result against Houston, an away draw you take typically in this league, but some drop points at home, some disappointing results here and there, some injuries that certainly have played a factor into that when you're not having your best starting back line. A team that's still very much figuring things out under a first-year head coach, Nico Estevez. So you can put all that into the equation and yet have mixed feelings maybe about this team, some frustration about where this team is, even as you acknowledge some things that are going well.
Wait. Excuse me, guys. Na zdrowie.
All right.
Woo! Yes! Let's go Dallas!
All right.
Sorry.
This is why you tune into the show, you know.
All right, Marston. That's my brother-in-law. We're having a good time out here.
Yeah, it's good. Enjoy some vacation. Enjoy some enjoy some libations. That's right. Well, so how are y'all feeling about this team at this point
Hey
in
guys,
the season?
sorry to just hop in.
That's all right. No, you're good. You're good. All right, Ishmael, we'll start with you. How are you feeling about this team at this point in the season?
I'm kind of tired. It's kind of it's always it's been a roller coaster couple of weeks because it's not like we're losing or tying games out of playing terribly. We're losing and tying games because we kind of like let our foot off the gas in second halves. So it's like kind of roller coaster emotion type games. Like I felt all of the emotions in that Houston game. I was screaming, cheering on my family's sofa for like 10 minutes after that 93rd minute goal, and then for an hour after the game, I wouldn't talk to anybody. I was that pissed. So like, it's just very a large range of emotions. We really hope we can actually close out games in the next couple of weeks because it's going to matter now that the teams are getting close.
Mm-hmm. Jose, your feeling about FC Dallas at this point?
Relief, man. Honestly, I was watching the game like everybody else, but honestly, we lost Farfan to injury, and then we had Nana replace him, who, by the way, not the best defender. And then we had Hedges go down, and we had Tafari, who, let's face it, has been shaky. I know everyone's upset that we blew a lead and didn't get the 3 points, but man, we were in real threat of losing all 3 points, and people are just like pissed off that oh my God, we only got a drop. Man, honestly, that's a great freaking result for this team. Not your best defender, your 2 best defenders. I'm sorry, but Farfan is our 2nd best defender on the team, and he goes down, and then Hedges goes down. Man, we were like a turnstile. Those guys were just getting past everybody else at will. Nobody there to stop them. And this team, and mind you, the 15 minutes, it's 15 minutes. FC Dallas gets punished by having to play games that go way past the 90 minutes. And on that level, this game was ridiculously above that. So honestly, with all that against them and a hostile crowd, at one point, anybody who's crying and saying that this team sucks and I'm giving up on this team, man, check your fandom at the door, because this was a good result. On a week when it was all about rivalry week, this is the match that everyone's talking about, because this was a true rivalry. In fact, I would say this took this rivalry to the next level. I would say that we should be looking forward to future games against Houston, because this game turned that rivalry up a notch. And I am happy with the result against Houston, in Houston, bringing El Capitan home. I know that we say, oh, we had to lead this and that. You got to throw out the window, because in real time, once Farfan went down, once Hedges went down, I was like, oh my God, we're going to lose this game. So I'm happy with the result. And anyone who says otherwise, I disagree with you, man. I swear, everyone's telling me how horrible FC Dallas has been in the past couple of games. A team like that doesn't deserve to get a point on the road against Houston. And don't give me this their bottom, whatever bullshit. It's a rivalry game. It is tough to get a point against a rival in their own backyard. If this was in Dallas, sure, I would say horrible result. But it's in Houston against that crowd. Hey, fuck yeah, I will take a point.
All right, Jose. And our buddy Ben says, this is the summer swoon that FC Dallas fans are used to. Surprised that we're still 4th in the West, but let's be clear. Like, there's like 6 points that separate us from like near the bottom. So it's a crazy time in the West right now. Growing pains, certainly. But Jose, hold your thought. Let's go ahead and welcome our buddy calling in and to kind of share his perspective.
I mean, as someone who went to the Houston game, the environment that we had was way different than last year. Granted, last year we were still having a little bit of a COVID scare, and I think we had maybe 20, 30 people. But I mean, the environment from people all around us and everything, people that were even chanting back against us, I haven't seen that in a rivalry game. Even whenever Austin came to us or we go to Austin, I never see that happen. People were getting riled up, people getting angry. And just to see, the intensity and the emotion that the players had too was up a notch as well. FC Dallas as of late, you got to think about last year to this year. Last year we had a team that was very, very poor. I mean, there's nothing else really to say about it. We were a terrible team. We go and get Velasco. We go and get, Paul Arriola. We get a true defensive left back, which love Hollingshead to death, but we haven't had a true defensive left back since Hollingshead was on the roster before him. So, and then we have a new coach on top of that. So we have practically half a new team. We have a new coach, new system, everything like that, and it was going good. We were outperforming, expected goals, expected assists, everything like that, having a sensational run, and it was going to happen eventually. I think every team hits that brick wall, like once or twice, and I think we're finally hitting that. But you got to think of injuries, you got to think of everything else that's been going on. I think Dallas right now is performing at expectation for me. I didn't expect us to be even this high right now. I expected us to be battling for the playoff line, if I'm being honest.
Hello, guys.
Yeah. We were definitely the FC Dallas was definitely overperforming expectations. So yeah, maybe this is a little bit of regression to the mean, a little bit of like kind of where we thought the team would be. Some growing pains, some things like that, and at the same time, some cause to be concerned. Only getting one goal off of a set piece at home against Inter Miami, for example.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, of course, we couldn't buy a set piece goal last year. Like they were just so rare. So you take it, but you hope the team, can generate some more activity in open play and things like that. And Jesus, had a really nice goal to put us in a game off a set piece, but hadn't scored in the open play until this Houston game, and a little bit of a scrappy assist from Hyder O'Brien. So yeah, it really is like this team. Like I went from beginning of the season thinking like, hey, we could be one of the deeper teams in the league because of our homegrown talent, to now being like, man, our bench there's a lot to be desired there. We're lacking some veteran play. We're lacking some pieces that could really help this team. Because O'Brien has been unreliable. Franco Jara has been, I was just talking with Ismael before the show, like, he went from, like, during that short little Open Cup run, thinking, like, maybe Jara is going to be a use. We'll look back and say we spent too much on him, but like, hey, at least he popped in some goals. But at this point, it's like he can hold the ball up. All right, great. We should be able to get that guy for a lot less than $3 million a year. So not sure how those evaluations. We're definitely seeing Nico as a first-year head coach learn the ropes. How to. Waiting too long to sub guys in, and figuring out the subs and figuring out the lineup, but also dealing with injuries and life and things like that comes. It just happens to any team. AFC Dallas has now certainly been bitten by the injury bug. So I factor all that stuff in, and so I feel pretty good about where the team is overall, and yet at the same time,
I'm getting bit out. I'm going in there.
We need to.
I know. Where are you going? You gotta go. I'm going in.
We need to.
Chico needs to hit that
I
mute
muted you there, Jose, buddy, for just a second. All right. But also at the same time, this team needs to figure out how to close out games. We're lacking some quality in some spots. I think off the bench and elsewhere. So it's just this mix, and it's hard to sort through all that and kind of figure it out, right? So I mean. Ismael, you already said, like, you're excited Jesus scored that goal against Houston. I was, too, because it kind of came out of nowhere, and, like, FC Dallas had not looked very good. They were just sort of hanging on for dear life. The but then to give up an equalizer late, it was just so deflating. Yeah, and you and Jose have been going back and forth about this, about is this a good result or not? So let us have it. Why?
I mean, I'm looking at it like, okay, so in the last 8 games, we drop 3 points against Houston. We dropped 3 points against Miami. We dropped 3 points against Austin. We dropped 3 points in that first Vancouver game. So in the last 4 games, there have been issues in the second half, right? So like when you're talking about growing pains, now we know basically what players we can rely on and what players we can't. And the issue is the players we can rely on barely make an 11. They don't make an 18. So we have players on the bench and sometimes starting 11 players that are not playing to the level that is needed for a team that wants to make the playoffs, right? So this game, again, in comparison to the Austin game, it's another rivalry game away from home where, again, it looks like how we did at the start of the season. We're outperforming expectations. We look like we're playing stout defensively. And then in both games, for either bad defending, bad individual play, mistakes, injuries, red cards, whatever you want to say it is, we drop 3 points, right? So, again, once in a while, this is going to happen. It's just, this is a young team with a new coach. It was to be expected. We're not going to be first place. But this has been happening more and more over the last month or so. And at this point, like Hodge is saying in the chat, there needs to be some signings. There needs to be some improvements. We need to do something about it. For me, this Houston game, because of everything that was going on, from Jesus doing a celebration that would have been cherry on top of a perfect performance, to him missing a one-on-one with Clark like 10 minutes later, to how bad Tafari did on that play, to the fact that Houston did nothing in the first half, just tells me that performance, unlike what, like, I know Jose disagrees, but that performance was bad because it should have been better. It should have been a better performance. We should be able to close off a game like that. 100-minute games in 104-degree weather are hard, but it's also hard on Houston. It's these kind of games, these rivalry games, the players know intensity is high. You know, Ache is on Houston so that there's going to be more fans in the stadium. This needs to be a win, especially looking at it when, like, as a fan looking at the 95th minute, this needs to be a win. And it wasn't. So that, to me, is something that is a worrying trend that's been happening too much, in my opinion.
Okay, so honestly, anyone who is shitting on Jesus, you know who you are. Fuck you guys. Honestly, we don't get that fucking point without Jesus scoring that goal. And I know he didn't close the show. It happens. But he's not the defender that's in charge of preventing that goal. He's not. He's there to score. He did what he had to do. And I know he couldn't. We would have liked that third goal to put it out, and it didn't happen. It sucks. But that point that we got doesn't happen without Jesus. And then people are saying, oh, he was lazy, this and that. Fuck you guys. Honestly. Seriously. Jesus did what he had to do, and it's not his job to keep the goal out of the fucking net. That's somebody else's problem, not his. So if that turns you off from this team, bye-bye. Fuck off. We don't need you guys. Honestly. Jesus is the golden boot for a reason. And honestly, I'm telling you right now.
He's not right now.
When Farfar went down.
He's not right now. Castellanos is
I know,
number one.
But
whatever.
He was at the time. I know it's close. But honestly, how many goals does he have? He's got 9, 10?
Yeah, 10.
FCD fan. you just wish we had a 10-goal scorer at the end of the season. At the end of the season. Not at this
Well,
point in the season. At the
I
end of the
mean,
season.
years
So,
ago we had
I know.
Christian
You're moving
Coleman.
the
I mean,
goalpost. You are
That guy
moving
was
the
lethal.
goalpost. You're saying, oh, we hope we have a 10-goal scorer at the end of the season, but now that we have a 10-goal scorer now, we should be blowing people. No. Honestly, you're weaving two stories. You're saying, hey, this team sucks. This team hasn't won a game in 8 last 8 matches. They should walk into Houston and get 3 points. No. A team like that doesn't walk into Houston and get 3 points. A team like that loses their best defender and their second best defender does not walk in Houston and get 3 points. I know you're upset that we didn't get 3 points. I'm upset we didn't get 3 points, but I'll take it. You got to be realistic. As soon as Hedges went down, as soon as Fargo went down, I was like, oh my God, we're going to just allow these guys to blitz us at the end. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry that Ferreira doesn't do it for you. The guy was out there 105 minutes in 100 plus degrees. Excuse me if he just lost steam at the end. It happens.
Everything-
He shouldn't have been out there that long. I was
It's not a
surprised he was
singular
out
thought. It's not a singular thought that he is. Of course, he's one of our best players. That can be true, while also at the same time being that he missed a chance that he should have scored. Both things can be true at the same time. Jesus did get us that point,
Yeah,
and
but
he also could have gotten us
him
3 points.
missing
Both things.
that chance didn't cost us the game. Him missing that chance did not cost us the game. Tafari and the defense allowing that second goal cost us the game. So anyone who's shitting on Ferreira, come on, man, get real. He didn't cost us the game. He got us the point. He's not a defender. He's there to attack. And he honestly, how many shots did he get on goal? He got 2 goals, 2 shots. He got 1 goal. That's 50%. That's fucking amazing. So, honestly.
All right, okay. We'll come back to this,
Wait.
I want to get.
I'm not done, Nathan.
All right,
I'm not done, Nathan.
Right.
Seriously. I'm just upset with people shitting on Ferreira. Ferreira had a good game. Did he lose steam at the end? Yes, he did. But it's on the road in hostile environment. The home team gets a second win from their fans, and Houston had that, and FC Dallas didn't. And I'm sorry that y'all are holding that against our players. A point in Houston with El Capitan coming home is a good result. 3 points would have been a great result. I know we didn't get it, but it's a good result for a team that's struggling right now. That's the fact.
Yeah.
And also, Houston is now mathematically eliminated from Copa Tejas as well.
Right.
Yes.
Colin, this question Ben asked earlier, and I didn't pop it up yet, but Colin, I wanted your perspectives. You've been at some of these games. You've been, such a presence there, cheering the team on. What's your feeling about these late game issues? Again, enter Miami, Houston, the team being able to hold on to a result, to come away with a full 3 points. Is this just a trend? Is it just an unfortunate reality? Like, is it just soccer? Is it Major League Soccer? Is it just the game state? Or is there something that this team just needs to grow? Or is lacking something? I mean, from your perspective.
I think the team is lacking, effort on the defensive end. Because here, during the game, when we're attacking and the game's still open, even if it's 1-0 in the first half, we're still attacking. We're still going for goals. We're not changing our play style at all. But as soon as we go up a goal or go up 2 goals even, like we did against Austin, we shifted. And obviously you want to solidify those 3 points on the road. But you don't want to change your tactics to where all you're doing is hoofing the ball out of the box and playing back. But the supporters group behind you, with the opposing fans breathing down your neck, in hostile environment, you got to keep playing your game. Because as soon as we stepped off the gas in Austin, we got 2 goals scored on us. And if that game, in my opinion, went on for 5 more minutes, we'd have lost that game. 100% would have lost that game. We were burned, we were dead, and everything. Into Miami, I think, as soon as we subbed off, we made subs, in the 70th minute? and people were still tired, and we had people stretching and everything during a hydration break, and Nico still didn't sub. Yet again, tired legs. We changed our, not changed our formation, but Eddie Mujama on the wing? Is that really our sub right now when we have Sean? I don't know what Sean's done in training or what he's done to Nico or anything like that, but you got to, like, at this point, try it. At least put him on the field and try it. We got to try something. I mean, where are these, Tommy's going to love this one. Where are these reinforcements? That kind of little thing. But, no, I mean, and then in Houston, I mean, here's my thing. Should we have walked away with 3 points? I think so. But we had one mistake from Nkosi that cost the game. And Nkosi's my boy, and I hate slandering him, especially after the Austin game and us chatting a little bit and everything. But that one slip up, he thought Paz had it. He saw the ball loose, and by then, Hadibe's on his back challenging for the ball, and he pokes it in. In those moments, you got to just hoof it out of there. Your reaction time's got to be a little bit better. That cost us another 3 points. Do I think it's killing us as a team? Not necessarily. We're still in 4th place. True. What's sad is, the difference between us and Houston is closer than us in 2nd place in Austin. Not necessarily a good thing within points rise, but as long as we, keep getting our points up, keep getting those wins, and draws on the road, especially in that environment that we were in, that atmosphere, guys, oh my Lord. Houston and the people that were there, they stepped it up from past years.
They did. They did. That was next level.
That up. It was Austin fans won't like this if they somehow watch this, but it was close to Austin levels, man. Like it was getting hype. It was getting loud. It was getting, I was a little more nervous being in the supporter section with my fellow fans and sitting by myself at an Austin game in the away end, But I think going kind of back to the question, I think it's honestly just Nico kind of getting adjusted to MLS as a head coach. He had experience with Greg Berhalter there for a little bit at Columbus as an assistant coach and everything, but he went straight to the men's national team, which is a completely different game in like CONCACAF competition than MLS. I also think, you look at teams around us like LAFC, Austin FC, these people that are the people that are really ranking it up, they already have a solid roster, but they're adding. Austin FC today, I mean, they signed a new winger that they needed, and they have decent wingers already. They're linked to Rigoni. LAFC goes and gets Chiellini and Bale for TAM deals. Granted, it's a half-season TAM deal that can go to a DP deal after this 6-month period. Do I think we need to win like subs and everything? Yes, because my opinion on Nanu would be send him back to Porto tonight. I don't like the guy. So we need wing backs? I think yes. Center backs, maybe one more. I mean, Henry's available. We could probably get a Pineda from, I believe, he plays for Chicago, I believe. We can get a bunch of decent, good MLS players, and we're second in allocation order. I mean, there's a lot of good players on an allocation order that would help us out as well. Some of them that are out of contract who have to pay a transfer fee. I think, honestly, we need to get a little bit. Oh, don't slander Tomasi, Todd. Come on now.
Todd is our local Tomasi hater. So.
That's tough. All right, well, I'll finish the question, honestly. But I think we need to sign a if we're not going to give Parker minutes in MLS, we need to sign a backup that can play both on the left and right. And then, honestly, I think when Jan gets hate a lot from how he played at the beginning of the season compared to now, he's improved. He's gotten a little bit better. But I think maybe another DM to challenge him in Cerrillo, and then a backup winger. Because, I mean, we have O'Brien. We were hoping Sean would be there, but with Sean not there, we're putting Eddie Majama on the wing. Eddie Majama ain't it. Gotta get someone else.
Yeah. When you look at the if you look at the subbing patterns lately, like there's the group of players that we keep subbing in. It's always O'Brien, Cervania or Siki, whoever didn't start the game. Probably bringing Nkosi recently because Hedges is always hurt or Martinez is always tired. Mujoma and Nanu get reps a lot. These are not subs that can get you in 4th place in the Western Conference. It is just not. It's not sustainable. So again, these late game performances, we can root them to like a bunch of different things, but the subs are definitely not enough right now. They're not performing to level. So if there are no signings this offseason, if we don't use the allocation order or some of the TAM that we still probably have from the Pepe transfer or anything of the sort, then we're going to be in trouble. Like if all of our signings are like Derek Waldeck or a homegrown or just like a couple of players from the academy, it's not going to be enough. There has to be MLS level players, which is why I don't think we should be signing someone on our U22 spot this offseason. I don't think it makes that much sense. We need to be signing players that can contribute now off the bench, possibly starting. That's definitely a need.
All right. I'm not trying to disagree with you guys, but I'm going to tell you this right now. When's the last time you watched a game where there was not one, not two, but three forced subs? Siki gets injured. That's forced sub number one. Farfan gets injured. That's forced sub number two. Hedges gets injured. Forced sub number three. Now, of those three guys, Siki is the only guy I would have expected to be subbed at some point. Farfan, Hedges, I would expect them to play the whole game. So, honestly, yes, I do agree there is a depth issue. But honestly, you guys are being too harsh on team. 3 injuries in one game is ridiculous. Unreally heard of. And 3 starters have it being taken out and 3 subs being forced on a coach. That's not normal. So I'm sorry, but I can't agree with that. Now, I do agree that we do need depth. We have at least 2 spots available on the senior roster. So this summer is a test for – I've been a Sonata guy. I have been. I've been telling you guys to wait for this year. Sonata's going to turn us around. And he has delivered up to this point. But let's face it, we're at crossroads. And if this team makes – the moves they make in this summer window will determine whether this team goes into the playoffs or misses the playoffs. We are seeing it right now. So I think we're all hoping that Sonata comes through. I know I am. There's 2 senior roster spots open. Let's fill them with somebody that can help us. Now, I know we're all saying we need to sign a center back. But do we really? We have 5 center backs on the roster. 5. You tell me we need 6 center backs?
Constraints. It depends how long is Quinones out. You can't rely on Bartlett. And if Hedges can't play 90, then you probably need a new one.
Okay. I agree. I want to argue against that, but I agree. We shouldn't have more than 5 center backs on the roster. But because of that, we may have to sign a 6th center back. That's ridiculous. That's just a team admitting that Bartlett is a failure, a bad draft pick. They should just admit it and say, look, we're going to go get a 5th center back because Quinones is injured. We can't control that. And honestly, I think Quinones is a good signing. I think he's a good guy that, honestly, if he was healthy, I believe he would have come in at left back and not Nano, who is also a bad signing. And that's just it. This team is a year away. But sure, they can still salvage a playoff spot with the right signings, and it's on Sonata to make those moves and get some players in to at least level this team out.
I mean, I think you're right in that. I mean, that's why it's always challenging as an FC Dallas fan because you want the team to win. Of course, we want hardware this year. It would be great, but we got a first-year head coach, and that's just. It doesn't happen.
The team's a year away.
Yeah, and it takes time to reshape a roster and put a new vision, a new way of playing, and so there's always going to be an aspect of do these pieces fit what Nico envisions for the team? Yeah. So I think we're always wrestling with that stuff, and at the same time hoping the team performs where it is. I mean, we talked a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, so Quinones looks like a different kind of player. He's really great. He's useful, but the guy is all over the place. Sometimes he's great. Sometimes you're like, why isn't Cerrillo starting? And I think that's just the challenge of a young team, but also of a roster that you've inherited. That is Nico really? Is Quinone a guy? Would he have gone after Quinone? Is he that? Is that what he wants for that position? It's hard to. I don't know. Especially. And you see Hector Herrera come in and ping the ball around with ease, and you go like, Dallas, hey, if that guy was available, come on, it'd be great to have him driving up.
Nathan, I'm glad you brought that up. Because people forget that Nathan Herrera making his debut, people were expecting this to be a crowning. They expected Herrera to come in and lead Houston to glory. People forget they're not giving credit to FCD for spoiling Herrera's debut. Houston expected Herrera to come in and elevate them to win over Dallas, and they didn't. He didn't. I'm sorry. And that's what's being lost in translation here. It's that Herrera was supposed to come in, be the savior, and Houston was going to go into the playoffs because of him. That's not happening, and Dallas has a lot to do with that. And I'm sorry. I know we all tasted victory. We saw the victory. We could just grasp it. But honestly, we know what's wrong with this team. Injuries in the back line. Farfan, I hope he's not out for too long. Hedges isn't 100%. Honestly, this can be fixed. If Sonora is out there and he can add a couple of players, the right players to the expectations for this team should be a playoff team. Hopefully, maybe a team that finished in the top 4. But this is a team that didn't make the playoffs last year. It didn't. So fans shouldn't expect an MLS Cup contender. Not this year. But we want to see progress, and I think we're seeing progress, and we would just like to see the team deliver on that. Hey, we're overachieving. I admit it. You know it. Everybody knows it. So let's get a couple players that will not slow down the progression that some of the homegrowns have made. And I know people talk about the homegrowns, forget the homegrowns. But those homegrowns are starting. They're not coming off the bench. If those homegrowns were coming off the bench, then we would have an edge on other people. But those homegrowns are starting. That's not an edge. That is actually something that needs to be addressed. Bring in players that can push those homegrowns to the bench, and then those homegrowns become a strength. But it is.
Oh, we lost you there for a minute.
On to you, Nathan.
Yeah, all right, Jose. We lost you there. We glitched out a little bit. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, that's all right. That's all right. I think that's my next follow-up question. Like, okay, we heard it before. I asked Nico about it, kind of what was the team going to do in this summer transfer window? Should fans expect anything? And he was basically like, hey, we're looking. I mean, we're always looking at ways to improve the team, but we have to believe the player is going to come in and improve the team, which I took means like we're not going to take a flyer on a lone guy who is coming off injury and may be okay, may contribute, and we're not going to necessarily just sign
He's saying no Barbijo specials.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we're not going to just take a flyer on a guy and hope he can help out. But like if a guy can really help this team, that would be great. But I mean, it did seem like they're looking forward toward the winter transfer window to sort of have more flexibility to reshape the roster. But so Ismael, Colin, if you guys could sign one guy to help out this team right now, and a quality player, like what position would you aim for?
If it was like dream signing, which is probably not going to happen as a defensive midfielder, I think that's the main spot, right? It's very unlikely because of how much Faku's salary hits the cap, and that they can't really explain having two defensive midfielders over like 600K, because 600K is probably how much you'd have to pay a good defensive midfielder. And like Faku has been definitely better this year than last year, but that's not saying much. And like you said, there's a lot of inconsistency in his game. He'd have the most tackles in a game with 4, but he has 8 attempted tackles in total. And that means he missed 4 tackles, and those missed 4 tackles are like a yellow card and like a free kick chance and like stuff like that. There's a lot of inconsistency to his game. But yeah, it'd probably be defensive mid. I mean, realistically, we should get a winger because if Shone is not playing and Elmedkar is not MLS level and Redzik is also not MLS level, then you have 3 wingers that can start. Or you could and that leads coaches to the crazy decision of playing Paxton on the wing when there's a depth issue. So that's why that we also need a winger. There's a lot of things on the wish list, but I think the main one is probably defensive mid.
I mean, Christian just said we should sign Messi, which I mean I'm for. I mean,
I'm down.
Yeah, fine.
Bring Dybala, please. Bring Dybala. He seems like he wants to come here.
Yeah, literally, for real. If I could have one dream signing. Okay, I'll say any dream signing, like no restrictions. Obviously, Dybala, but we don't have a DB spot, unless he wants to take a TAM deal. But even then, we need to get an international spot for him. But realistic signing, I mean, even with our center back situation, we only have 3, what seems to be true center backs in our rotation, because it seems like every time they play Quinones as a wing back. Every time he's been on, he either played right back to come on Fananu, or he played left back with Farfan shifting. I mean, he really hasn't played center back except Open Cup. Actually, no. No, he played Open Cup games, did he not? I believe. But
so, yeah.
And then Bartlett's no. Just Bartlett's one of those. Let him get some minutes with NTSC. Let him play, try to develop him a little bit more. But I mean, there's people. I mentioned him earlier, like Ishmael mentioned him too in our discussion. We have, you got Daniel Henry that's available. That'd be a good backup option. And then you have Pineda. That'd be a good option. He could play not only center back, but he could also play DM if you need him to. That's what I like about Pineda. Those would be my 2 dream. I say dream signings, trying to be realistic. Signings for SCD this window, because they wouldn't take much for a trade, and then obviously Henry would be a free agent. All we'd have to do is trade for an international spot for him.
Well, I thought Henry was Canadian. Is that right?
Oh, yeah, he is. Yep.
He would take up an international slot. That's the bad thing. He doesn't have his green card.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay,
because
guys.
I know Canadians, I heard, do not take up international slot. But yeah, if he doesn't have his, well, I don't know.
Card, yeah.
I don't know.
All right, guys. I'm a little drunk, so I'm not gonna pull any punches. I'm gonna tell you right now what this team needs.
Okay.
This team needs Thiago Santos. The bottom line is that Facu is a 6, but he's not a single pivot. Cerrillo is a 6, but he's not a single pivot. They both would work better together. If this team ran 2 6s, then Facu and Cerrillo would complement each other. But this team doesn't run that. They run a single pivot, and both Facu and Cerrillo they're not single pivots. And that's what this team needs. You say, oh, we can't. Yes, we can. We can go out and get a guy that's capable of being a single pivot, a single 6.
So Carlos
And
Grueso.
we can do that. We can do that by either, yes, Gresso.
Yep.
I'm serious. And I'm sorry. If this means you got to loan out Cerrillo or sell Facu, then that's what you got to do. The bottom line is we are starting 2 8s and 1 6, and neither of our 6s are capable of playing by themselves. Facu can't handle it. Cerrillo can't handle it. And this team is hurting because of that. Because our back line is not 100%. Hedges and Martinez, when's the last time they've been healthy? When's the last time they've been able to play entire 90 minutes for a match? I can't remember. And because of that, we need a guy at 6 that can come in and play him by himself, and Facu can handle it. Neither can Cirillo, and I love Cirillo, and I like Facu, but one of them is going to have to go. One of them is going to have to be either loaned or traded, and we need to go out and get a guy like Gresso, who may be coming back to MLS, by the way. I would fucking love it. Gresso or Thiago Santos, we need that guy. That's the fix. That's the guy that we need. A guy who's practically a third center back. That guy will at least make sure that this team goes to the playoffs. That's what we're missing. That's the fix. That's what we need to get.
Need someone who got that dog in him.
Yeah.
All right, guys. That's me.
Appraisal works because of the allocation order. Because, like Coov said earlier, we are second in the allocation order. So it's also interesting that Cincy, who's first in the allocation order, has been rumored to be wanting to sign Guerrero. So if this club is really looking, if they want to make a push this season, again, their intentions might not be that. If their intention is really to push for a good playoff run, then trading up trading up $500K to first spot to get Guerrero seems like a very good option, especially since Guerrero, this is not exactly Oscar Pareja or Lucci, but it's somewhat similar in the role that he would have to play. So
I agree with it now.
Yeah. Guerrero, and plus he loves it here, I think. Pretty sure.
Yeah.
He knows the city, so he knows what he's getting into.
Yeah.
That's fair to say.
Would be interesting. All right, well, we're getting toward the later end of the show. There's a lot we haven't talked about. Let's talk about jersey sponsors. Ishmael pointed this out, and I hadn't even really looked at this, but and we want to give credit. Third Degree reported on this that FC Dallas is changing its jersey sponsor, and it's kind of a soft, kind of sudden transition, or a subtle. It's been happening, but of course they used to have Advocare, and then this software company. Yeah, and now that has evidently, it was supposed to be like a 7-year deal, and it has fallen apart. Both of these recent sponsors haven't necessarily been like the most tried and true. Like, I still dream of like a Texas Instruments, like this corporation.
Me.
Yeah, the Whataburger that's been around for a long time. We haven't had that. What does that mean for FC Dallas? I don't know. I don't.
Opportunity. I think it means opportunity. Come on, you're out on Advocare. I'm not sad. MTX, never heard of them. Honestly, this is a chance to get with a true global sponsor. That's what they need. Not a regional sponsor, not a state-only sponsor. I know I say Whataburger, but honestly, they need a global sponsor, someone like Audi or you know what I'm saying? Somebody that's known globally. Because let's face it, you want to expand the brand globally, not regionally, not in the States, but worldwide. So get somebody that somebody in Europe watching team goes, hey, I recognize that brand. We don't have that right now. We don't have that. We have someone in England is going to go Advocare and go. Someone in England is going to go Advocare. What the fuck is that? MTX. What the fuck is that? You need somebody on the other side of the pond is going to go. Yeah, I recognize that brand. That's what you need, and that's what I want. And that's what it's going to take this team on the next level.
Yeah. I'm down. Some of those brands, I don't know why, like Whataburger, and maybe just the money isn't there, or they're stretched in other places. And And Texas Instruments is certainly not the biggest company that they once were,
F-
perhaps.
Epcom.
They could go with the easy option and go with Toyota. I mean, that's
Yeah.
global. They're already in a
But Toyota's
relationship.
already doing the stadium, so I don't expect them. But that's a good call.
I mean, it's what's interesting about the MTX thing is the two things that could have happened is either FC Dallas doesn't like the company and is paying out early, or MTX can't afford the contract anymore. And knowing the fact that FC Dallas was with Advocare and is still with Advocare, it's probably the second one. It's just MTX can't pay the current deal right now. So, I mean, the company was always suspiciously new. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
So it would be great if the team went with something local but globally known. We have a lot of brands in Dallas. You could go Frito Lay. You could go with Pepsi. You could go with Toyota. There's a lot of different options, I think.
Family's here. Jose needs to go.
Are you still on the podcast?
Yes.
Oh,
Go away.
Yeah, I think
I will
A
take
lot
your
of background
phone
chatter
away.
there. Hey, how about this? How about the Dallas Cowboys as a jersey?
Dallas Cowboys. That would be awesome.
I was saying as a joke, just do the Chiefs.
Shut up, you Bears fan. Shut up.
Just
Get
do the
out
Chiefs.
away from him.
The Chiefs.
Shut
yeah.
up, Bears fan.
Jose Rica. Jose Rica.
Sorry, guys. Salud.
Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly, no, seriously. It's got to be a global sponsor, not a regional sponsor, not a state sponsor. I honestly, I hope the team goes big. Look, I mean, what are some of the other sponsors out there? You know, like
Give me Dr. Pepper.
you got,
Texas's drink brand. Texas's soda, Dr. Pepper. I'll take that.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, take something like a soda company or something like that. Red Bull. I mean, you know, I'm not saying Red Bull, but I'm saying that's a
I
global
think
sponsor.
I think they've already got. Yeah. Anyway.
I think they own it.
My point is, they're a global sponsor. Honestly, reach for the stars, man. Honestly, Audi is a global sponsor. There's global sponsors out there. Don't settle for a regional brand, and they have been doing that lately. They need to stop. They need to, you know, this team is synonymous now with their academy. With honestly, what's the best academy in the United States? You can argue who it is, but FC Dallas will be in that conversation. So why not get a global sponsor that can push that forward? Shut up, man. Get out of here. Anyway, man, shut up. Get out of here. Jesus
All right.
Christ. My point is, Gleba, get a global sponsor. Honestly, I'm serious.
All right.
I don't care who it is. Get a global sponsor. That's what this team deserves. And if you
You're right.
can't get a global sponsor, get a sponsor that's synonymous with Texas. One or the other. Don't get this obscure. Advocare, never heard of them. MTX, never heard of them. I'm sorry. That's the truth. The bottom line is this team needs to think bigger, not settle for whatever.
Yeah, our
I'm
buddy
sorry.
Hoach has a lot of good opinions, including Viagra as one. But with the youthful team, I don't know. You know, well, we'll think about that. Well, all right, let's shift. We'll close out the show here in the next few minutes.
North Texas, man.
Arjun says AT&T would be good. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of teams, a lot of corporations.
That would be fair.
Yeah, that would. Let's shift over to North Texas really quick. Some up and down results from North Texas in recent weeks, coupled with Buc-ee's. Although I've read some negative stuff about Buc-ee's recently. But,
Buc-ee's
anyway.
is steer clear.
Yeah. North Texas SC has had some up and down results. The most recent, a loss at home, down a man. Hope Aveyu just early red card in the first half, and just kind of doomed North Texas against San Jose. And it's interesting against that Quakes 2 side, because the rumors have been that Quakes are interested in talking with Coach Ka, Paul Muda Ka, head coach of North Texas SC, about their open head coach position. And with DC United looks like they're going to announce Wayne Rooney tomorrow evening as their next head coach. One less option for him to move up to MLS. He's been having a great season with North Texas. They certainly had their ups and downs. They certainly look like a young team. So I guess how are we feeling about North Texas? At times they have looked like they are going to be the dominant team of MLS Next Pro and just going to run away potentially with the championship. And then at times it's like, yeah, it's tough. It's tough. And even in this game, against down 10 men, they had chances too. They had chances to level the game, to equalize, to get other goals. So you give them credit for that. But boy, at one end they look great, and the other end defensively, it's just a mess. It's just a mess at times, right? Jose, briefly give us your sense.
So North Texas is not the best team in MLS Next Pro, and they're not the team that's favored to win the title. That team is St. Louis. I know St. Louis is currently number one in the West, and they're number one for a reason. They're signing players for next year's expansion team, and they're starting them here. There's at least 8 players who will be in MLS next year starting for their reserve team. And come now that the summer window is opening, they have at least 3 more players joining, 2 of them from the Bundesliga. So St. Louis, not FC, not North Texas SC, are the favorites to walk away with the title. Who is North Texas playing next? St. Louis. In St. Louis with their new additions, and it's ridiculous. I'm sorry. But honestly, North Texas SC, I know they've lost 2 games, but honestly, the red card, that doomed them against San Jose, who, by the way, is a team that's chasing for that playoff spot. So it's not a bad loss. It's a loss at home, which is technically a bad loss, but when you're down to 10 men before halftime, it is a reasonable loss. So North Texas at the end of the year will be a playoff team. They will be a team to be reckoned with. But they are not the favorites to win MLS Next Pro. That was always going to be St. Louis, because St. Louis is going to have about 11 to 12 guys that are MLS level starting for their team. North Texas, now, if they were willing, if they were willing to take players from FCD like Redzik or Manjoma or guys like that are not getting minutes like Shun, but they're not. They're not. This year, North Texas is sticking to their guns and playing strictly players that they signed. And because of that, North Texas will be a playoff team. They are a dark horse, but they're not the favorite. St. Louis is. Who's the second favorite team? It's not North Texas, it's Columbus. Because Columbus went out and they signed the best players they could get their hands on from USL League One and the Canadian Premier League. And because of that, those are your 1 and 2. One of those 2 teams is going to win the league, not North Texas. And North Texas is only a playoff team because they're a solid team. They're solid top to bottom. And honestly, I won't count them out. I know 2 losses. Come on. They're 4th place. They're 3rd place. and they're tied with Houston Dynamo. By the way, another team that is really good. But the difference is that Houston Dynamo has had some of their players promoted to the first team, like teenage, I forget his name, but he's the guy that scored the tying goal against FCD in this last game. So he came from their reserve team. So I'm not concerned about North Texas. They'll be fine.
We're doing body shots. We're doing body shots. Jose, I'm going to lay down.
All right.
Shit, man.
All right. Got exciting. All right.
We're doing body shots.
Sorry,
All
guys.
right. Well, good. Well, enjoy the rest of your evening, Jose.
But the bottom line is, don't worry about North Texas. They'll be fine. They'll be a playoff team.
All right.
They'll be a dark horse. They'll have a shot at getting the title. But St. Louis is your favorite. Columbus Crew 2 is your. It should be your second team. After that, it's anybody's guess. And honestly, keep an eye on this. North Texas is known to add reinforcements in the summer because FCD has players in the college team, in the college game that are willing to turn pro. So that's going to be the difference. How North Texas reinforces will decide whether they win the league or whether they're just another team in the playoffs.
Okay, I'm about to steal Jose's phone, and we're going to do body shots. He's going to sock a shot out of my belly button.
Get out of that.
All right. Well, good. North Texas has a shot, and Jose's about to have a shot.
They do.
That's good.
They're a dark horse. They're a dark horse, but they're not the favorite. Don't get confused. The favorites are St. Louis. They have been. They have always been. And until they're going to have some guys that played in the Bundesliga starting for them in the reserve league. That's ridiculous, man. Yeah. Think about that. 2 guys coming in the summer transfer window that are Bundesliga regulars. Ridiculous.
Todd says it's our best episode ever. We're good, Jose. Well, good. Take that to heart, Jose. Best show
Nathan,
ever.
I will say, Nathan, by the way, congratulations. I hear that Baltimore is getting a potential USL championship team. Congratulations.
Right. I'm excited. I'm excited. Just up the road from us, about 20 minutes from where I live. I got invited to the DC United announcement tomorrow. Although I got a meeting, I got a work meeting tomorrow evening, so I can't go. I think they're going to unveil Wayne Rooney, so could get some free fish and chips if I was able to go. But I got a work meeting, so that's
okay. I want to apologize. My drunk friends are begging me to call it a day. So good night, everybody.
All right.
Houston was a good result. If you don't believe me, this is you, Ismael, and everybody else that agrees with Ismael.
I got fish and chips for Jose all day.
Bye, guys.
All right. Good night. Good night there,
Adios.
Jose. All right, guys. Ismael, Colin, last words. Any thoughts about North Texas or just anything you want to leave with us as we prepare to close out the show for this evening?
It's just fun to see that it's literally the same issues as is happening with FC Dallas, because that SKC game last week, they lost 4-2, but the expected goals was literally switched. Like, expected goals for North Texas was 4, and for SKC was 2. So It's the same issues with defensive issues, not finishing all their chances, and just not being structurally. They're not playing structurally very well. There's issues with the roster and injuries, and interesting, since Bartlett hasn't started, they haven't been very consistent. So maybe Bartlett should play in North Texas, but then again, we have depth issues on the first team. So it's the same issues, maybe almost mirrored perfectly, same summer slump. Just hope they get out of it. I mean, they will definitely make the playoffs, like Jose was saying, but it's also, you want a high spot in the standings to be able to play favorably in the playoffs. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Go ahead, Colin. Yeah.
I think I think NTSC. I mean, kind of like Jose was saying, they aren't the favorites, but they have for sure performed above their expectation, or right at it, in my opinion. I mean, look at the very first game against Minnesota United, a mostly MLS squad. I mean, I was there on the field watching that game. We dominated that game. They show that they can compete with the best of the best. So it'll be cool to watch them this weekend against St. Louis. It'll be nice to watch. For FC Dallas, just Nico's learning about subs. I mean, we saw it in the Houston game. And when we made the subs, besides Siki for Savania very early on, the subs in the second half, when we saw those, it changed the game. It helped, Houston was on the front foot. They were bashing us like pretty badly. We didn't know how to handle it. The subs came on and made a difference. They made it a little bit less of an effort. They were able to slow Houston down a little bit. Is that saying much for what they did? Not that much. But, I mean, Houston is a very scrappy team, we're going to throw everyone at you at once you get a chance. We don't care about going to play defense. We'll play scrappy all day long. And I think that not only gets them points on the road and points at home, but it also costs them points. And I think that costed them with Jesus' goal. They were going for the win there. But also, got them the goal with Teenage Hadibi. So, I mean, I think Dallas just needs to just solidify that back line, get everyone healthy. With this midweek game against NYCFC on Wednesday, throw out the kids. Throw out the NTSC kids. Throw out Bartlett. Throw out Isaiah Parker at left back. Let Jimmy have a run. Get these second-team players a chance, and these third-team players a chance. Let Sean run, get O'Brien some minutes. That way everyone can recover for the game on Austin. That way we can bring Copa Tejas home again. Yeah.
I do. I like that. I think Copa Tejas is like the next thing. Like, hey, let's hang on to that. Those bragging rights are important. That is hardware. That is the most the next piece that's possible. So I think that's good stuff too. Yeah. And Colin, just your sense really. Just a couple of minutes of this. As one who's been very active in the supporters section, leading, trying to create that atmosphere among fans in the stadium, has it felt like it's a different feeling, different cooperation with the front office this year? Has the energy been different? I mean, we've definitely seen the energy. I've seen it afar from the TV feeds, that it seems like the stadiums have been they're doing a better job of getting folks in to see the excitement on the field. But just your perspective, has there been a change this season?
Oh, 100%. I mean, we're starting to have more communication. Obviously, I'm not heavily involved. You'd have to ask probably Luis or Benjamin or even Hotch. Have to ask those guys. But just from a guy who's been there all the time, I mean, we have a full-on band this year. It's no more, hey, we have drums, come play. And that's how I got started last year. We have a full-on band. We have a lumber corporation. We have a food truck at tailgates that everyone can eat for free at. I mean, the cooperation with the front office has improved a lot. The marketing team, I know it's a little bit different from the SGs, but the marketing team has done phenomenal this year. They're putting butts in seats. Even if they're doing the wave in the 50th minute when we're losing. It gets annoying a little bit as a soccer fan, but I mean, it gets butts in seats. It gets people knowing who we are and knowing about us. The supporter section has been packed every game. The Toronto game, even at the opener, it was still pretty full. I mean, it has been amazing. I think the FO has stepped up a lot from last year, with last year not being high on the expectations, but they've stepped up. If they keep going in the right direction, I can honestly see us selling out more games, and I can see the sports section definitely needing to be moved from that small section because it has been huge. It has been a huge improvement.
Well, that's great. Well, let's leave it there before the night gets too long. Ismael, Colin, and of course our buddy Jose, who's having a blast right now there in Wisconsin. Thank you all for joining us. And of course, I'll always take the audio, and I think I'm a little bit behind, but we'll add that to our podcast. So if you want to subscribe and get the audio version, wherever you find podcasts, you'll find our Big D After Dark show. This was a great show tonight. A lot of comments. Love those comments. Love the feedback, the questions. Good stuff. Good stuff, everybody. We'll see you next week, and hopefully we'll have 3 points at home to talk about and more, and a Copa Tejas victory to talk about. Okay? Good night, everybody.
Night.
Night.